Hey there, thanks for stopping by. I'm Riley, and this is part 2 of the really long video that I recorded. No, why'd this cup blow over? Be quiet, I'm trying to record the intro for my— this is really embarrassing. So yes, this is part 2, and I just thought that I would film a little intro for it rather than just like throwing it like right at the beginning of the part where I cut it, because like obviously I wasn't expecting to split this video into 2 parts when at the time when I was recording it. So this is just a little intro, and without further ado I will leave you to watch the rest of it. Should I do short hair on this character? I've been doing a lot of experimentation with style as well lately. It's like I feel like I want to keep my art loose, my art style loose, and it's kind of interesting because that's also part of the conclusion I came to, because I was so concerned with finding out what my style was, but in the end I kind of realized that I'd rather keep it kind of loose and diverse, and being able to kind of draw in any style I want, you know? Like, I'd like to have a few really recognizable styles, but I don't want that to be my only style. So I've been doing a lot of experimentation with things that I can do with my style, and it's a little bit interesting because in my figure drawing class, I believe this was the second one, yeah, the more like advanced figure drawing class that I took, we did an exercise where we were— oh, also, if you don't know what a figure drawing class is, I guess I should have mentioned this earlier, but it's the kind of class where you have like a nude model up at the front of the class and everybody's drawing them. So it was that type of class, and it really helped with like figuring out anatomy and stuff for drawing people, so it was really helpful. So yeah, this exercise that we had to do was— it was like— how to explain it? It was— we were drawing the model, but we were learning about abstraction at the time, like doing more abstract figures. And one of the kind of, how do you say, like a tactic or a strategy, one of the ways that he was saying to do it, like a style, I guess, is to draw in straight lines and curves only. So, like, just and also kind of like placing them together, like juxtaposition, I guess you could say. Just like pairing straight lines with curves. So like if you're drawing an arm, say, you might do like a straight line for one side of the arm, and then you do like that for the other side of the arm, and then like here's the hand, and yeah, that's a hand. But you see what I mean? Like, it's straight lines and then curved lines on this side, or I could have even gone like this. Actually, that looks real bad, but you see what I'm saying. So we did an exercise like that in that class, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that one. That was actually probably one of my favorite exercises that we did in that class. And lately, I've really been experimenting with how to make a style out of that sort of exercise. Like, I kind of have an example in this book. It was a drawing that I did on this channel, actually. It was the Space Monster Girls. It was this one, so like just kind of abstract human shapes, doing a lot of like straight lines, but then also curved ones as well. And another example I have is actually in this book. Let me find the page that it was on. I was doing some fan art for a show that I was watching at the time called Lolly Rock. Here they are. So these were just some of the characters. I was trying out this style on them, just kind of really simplified and trying to emphasize the use of straight and curved lines. And then also a new way of doing eyes. Like, I don't know how to explain how to do the eyes. I mean, I guess it's not that hard. Here, let me go back to that other page, and I will try and draw the eyes for that. basically it's just like, I take an eye and I make it really round, because I like doing really round eyes. And maybe I drew this a little too big, because now I can't get a feel for how the eye is. I'm so used to drawing small. How did I? Okay, yeah. So there's the eye, and then it's like, pretend I didn't draw that. Just ignore that line that I just made. So here's the iris, and what I kind of do is I divide it in half, and then I divide the top half in half, and then one half is the black part of the eye, and one half is the highlight, and then the rest is just whatever color that eye is. So it's really kind of a simplified version of this one up here, because, let's see if I can fit them both on the screen. So, because obviously here you have the iris here, and then you have kind of that dividing line I did, and then that's the dividing line here, so it's basically the same thing, and then the highlight here. So basically the only difference is that on this one down here I didn't add this little, what's it called, the pupil. I didn't really add the pupil, so it's just like a fun stylized way of doing things, and I've really been experimenting with that sort of thing. Let's see, what should I do for this character? I want to give them a skirt, maybe. I really want to get better at drawing skirts, because I feel like my clothing knowledge is quite lacking. Like, I've gotten a little bit better at anatomy since I took those figure drawing classes, and we did focus a little bit on doing clothing, like just how it generally works, but we didn't really go in depth. It was like a 1 week lesson sort of thing, and we only had class once a week, so it was just like one class that we spent on doing clothing. And so I feel like I can still learn a lot from that, but I've also learned a bit on my own about how clothing works. You know, there will be like tutorials going around online, and they're really helpful. Art communities online are very, very nice places to be, because it's just nice to be around people who do the same thing that you do. I cannot figure out how to do the hem of this skirt. I don't know what I want it to look like. But yeah, just like finding other people who do the same kind of thing that you do is especially nice. Yeah. So, I don't know how long I've been going for. I didn't want this video to be super long. I was thinking something around 20-ish minutes, maybe. And I feel like I've kind of reached that, but I also don't really want to stop drawing, to be honest. I feel like I'm just getting these warm-ups done. But also this is kind of how I expected the video to go, like just a bunch of random drawings on one page, because it's just a bunch of sketches. I wasn't really aiming to finish one, like, finished piece or anything like that. I just kind of wanted it to be, you know, no stress, just draw whatever's coming to mind. I guess I draw a lot of weird things. I was gonna say a lot of girls, but also this thing. This could be a girl, but I like to think of it as genderless. So, yeah. Anyway, I don't really like how this person's hair is turning out, so I'm just gonna stop that. Okay, I think I'm gonna do one more and then pretty much end this video. I mean, I could go on to fill the whole page, but like I said, I'm recording this on the day that it's going out, so I don't really want to have to edit like an hour-long video, and I don't really want to have to upload an hour-long video, so this is gonna be the last thing. And to bring it home, I think I'm gonna draw one of my original characters. I kind of feel like drawing Alex. I really like him, just because his design is a little more interesting than some of my characters. Because here's the thing about my characters. I originally created them when I used to be like a writer, I guess. I used to write a lot of stories, mainly in like middle school and high school, and I had all these original characters, and because I created them for like written stories, their designs weren't really that well thought out, you know? Like, I was also still drawing at the time, but it wasn't as emphasized as it is now in my life, so It's kind of like I didn't really put that much effort into making them interesting visual characters, I guess, if you want to phrase it like that. But basically Alex is a little more interesting because I had the idea for how he looked before I had the idea for what I wanted his story to be. So he has a little bit more thought put into what he looks like because Silent, who I've drawn on this channel a few times, he's just basically like dirty blonde hair and brown blue eyes, and that's basically all there was to him. But with Alex, I kind of put a lot more thought into what he actually looked like, and it's just kind of like he has kind of long hair, but not super long. This doesn't really look like him. I don't know what I'm doing. Maybe if I add his nose, it'll look more like him. I really want to work on drawing my original characters more because I've never been good at drawing them. Like, here's the thing. I'll get used to drawing, because I draw a lot of fan art, so I'll get used to drawing characters from other shows and stuff that I usually get into, but when it comes to my original characters, there he is. I just needed to poof his hair out a little bit more. When it comes to my own original characters, for some reason, I have a lot of trouble drawing them. Like, ever since I first created them, I've always had trouble drawing them. I'm like, what the heck? How does their hair go? So Alex is kind of one of those characters, but I feel like I'm getting a little bit better, which it makes sense because if you keep drawing them, then eventually you'll have to get better. That's how art kind of works. So I've, as the years kind of go on, I get a little bit more used to drawing, it's me getting hung up over my words again. So I just kind of develop them more, and that kind of makes sense because I don't really know of a lot of people who keep their characters like exactly the same as when they first created them. I mean, it happens, and a lot of my characters are pretty similar to how they were when I first made them. Like, Alex has always had this weird hair, and it's kind of funny because when I first designed him back in like high school, I think, it was just like, oh yeah, he has this cool hair. But nowadays I'm like, okay, he'd have to dye it, and how would he dye it that way? Because his hair isn't naturally like, the color of his hair is this really bright yellow blonde, like pretty much white hair, and then it has this black like dyed part right here. But like, thinking about it realistically, his hair is naturally black, or at least very dark brown, and if he wanted to dye it this way, he'd have to go through so much. Like, I don't even know how dyeing anyone's hair works, so it's like, this is beyond me. So I don't know, it's really funny thinking about, like, back then it was like, oh yeah, this is just how it is, but now I'm like, he has to be able to do that somehow. So let's see, what kind of pose do I want to put him in? Last time I drew him for, like, while I was not thinking, it was like for that 10-minute challenge video that I did like a pre-sketch, and I drew Alex, and it was kind of just nothingness. So I don't know, what is he doing now? He's sticking his leg out. Okay, that's fine. Maybe he's figure skating. Okay, there he goes. He's figure skating now because I don't know how to do a pose without making really weird legs going off into the distance. Like, look at these ones up here. Like, what is happening right here? Drawing floating people is just the solution to everything. Like, you don't know how to make a boring pose interesting, just get rid of that original pose's context and just make them floating. Look, he's just flying. I don't know. No, I'm not giving up on you, Alex. I'm gonna make this work. So get rid of those legs. Get rid of that. He's not flying anymore. His arm is not sticking out. Okay. In his story, he goes to school. That's kind of what all of my characters were back then. They were just all going to school because I was in school at the time, and I was like, relatable characters. Yes, I'm in school, so they are all in school as well. So he goes to like a boarding school, private school kind of thing. I don't know. I never really figured it out. It was just gonna be like an all boys school because that was like weird to me. I just thought it was gonna be a fun idea. And so I'm basically, what I'm trying to say is I'm drawing him with his backpack here. He's got his arm on the thing and he's only wearing it on one shoulder like a cool guy. Actually, I used to do that because I didn't want to put my backpack on all the way because I was lazy. Oh man, my throat's getting sore. I'm gonna drink some water. Okay, I think that water gave me a little bit of inspiration because I'm going to put him in a little scene because here's the thing. His story, he wasn't alone. He was the main character of the story, but you gotta have like other characters or else it's just like, what is this, the last man on earth? So I'm gonna draw Alex here. He likes to wear kind of band t-shirts, but I'm not very good at knowing about bands. Maybe he likes Fall Out Boy, but I don't remember what Fall Out Boy's like logo looks like. Isn't there like a Fueled by Ramen thing? I'm gonna do the Fueled by Ramen thing. Is it something like that? So anyway, he likes bands, so there you go. He wears a black shirt and then he wears pants. Yeah, that's a good character design. And he, the other like kind of main character of the story is someone named Andy, and he's way taller than Alex. I'm gonna erase this lady's weird foot. Goodbye. Because Andy's pretty tall, and it works out because I drew him looking up like this, so that's perfect because he's definitely looking at Andy, who he's been looking at this whole time. And I've really been working on trying to develop different face shapes because, you know, like, you don't want to draw the same face for everything and same head shape and everything, so Andy is different from Alex in that he has a long face. Like, Alex's face is kind of round and squished, but Andy has a really long face, he has a long nose, and he has spiky hair, kind of. I never really figured out how Andy's hair works. I always just kind of did this weird thing, like, I have 2 strands of hair here, and there's his big long chin, and then it just like spikes in the back. Like, he uses gel or something, but I feel like I should give his hair more volume because it just has always looked so stupid when I drew it that way. So, there you go, Andy. You just got a design change because I can't take it anymore. Your hair is just so dumb. I'm sorry. There you go. So your hair is up. But now I'm gonna have to figure out what he looks like with his hair down. Ugh, that's a story for another time. So, there's his nose. Big old nose, because it's fun drawing characters with not just this tiny nose that I always draw for everything. Even though it is a little more challenging, but I mean, if I want to be able to draw all the stuff that I want to draw, that's what I have to do. So his bangs kind of sweep over this way, and he's kind of an interesting character to figure out because he can be a little bit, like, I don't want to say timid, he's definitely not timid, but he's very introverted, let's just say. He does have social anxiety, so it's very hard for him to talk to new people, and in this story, it's when they meet, so he's a little bit, like, unsure of how to talk to Alex at first, so I don't know if this drawing is going to take place at the beginning of the story or what. Like, I talk about this story as if it's still happening. I've kind of dropped it because it's been years since I even worked on it, but I still really like these characters, and, you know, it's nice to think that maybe sometime in the future I could do something with them again, like reuse them for something in the future, because I do still really love these characters, you know. I don't like their original story anymore that they came from, but I have a habit of getting really attached to my characters. Even if I create them for something so small, I start, like, thinking about, you know, what their personality is like and what their motivations are like, and suddenly I'm like, oh, I love these characters. So even though I've kind of put their story behind me, I still think about them a lot and use them for a lot of things and draw them a lot. Well, not use them for a lot of things, but I do still draw them a lot. And that's how they've kind of developed, because I keep drawing them. So let's stop working on his head. I already feel like this is going wrong because the length of his head seems like he'll have to be way taller than the ground is going to let him be. So, like, there's Alex's foot. I feel like that's not enough space for Andy's body. I don't know, maybe it is. Maybe he has a short torso. That's the thing with the original characters. Like, when you're drawing fan art for something, you kind of have to draw it how they are. But with your original characters, you're like, wow, my city now. And you can just do whatever you want with them. You're like, oh, Andy is really tall now. He didn't used to be. Because that's kind of a weird thing that I've struggled with when making characters in the past. Like, I just don't know how to do character heights and stuff. Like, I look at character lineups for shows I like and stuff, and they're all, like, totally different heights. Like, one character's, like, this tall, and another character's, like, all the way up here. And it's like, wow, that's a cool, interesting cast. And then when I look at my characters, I'm, like, drawing them all the same height, and it's like, this is bad. So that's really something that I've been trying to pay attention to when creating new characters and stuff, like trying to make interesting, diverse character designs. So that's what I'm trying to keep in mind for Andy here, and making him very much taller than Alex. I think Alex, I figured out their actual heights at one point. I think Andy is maybe 5'10" or 5'11" or something like that. And then Alex, I think, is supposed to be 5'4" or something. 5'4" or 5'5". Yeah, I think something like that. So I don't know if I actually accurately captured that in this. Let me turn the camera a little bit. Because I haven't really practiced drawing them together very much since I've figured out their differing heights. But yeah. I like how I just generically draw these characters on a t-shirt. Like, I don't remember what Andy's style is. I know that Alex likes to be very stylish, so maybe this is kind of just a casual day for him, because he, originally when I used to draw him, he would wear like a little vest. So, just fun stuff. So, we're just gonna go with t-shirt and jeans today, because I don't feel like trying to come up with character designs for these little doodles here, but yeah, so Andy has a very angular sort of face, kind of to contrast with Alex, because if they're like the two main characters of this story, that's not right. He's supposed to be looking down. That is one of the things that I struggle with most when drawing faces, is making them look down. It always looks so dumb and bad, and that's why I have this weird way of drawing eyes that I do now, which is like really just tilt the whole thing over, and it's like, ah yes, this is exactly what I wanted. So I'm just gonna give him kind of a neutral face. Oh man, that looks really bad. I changed my mind. I'm not doing these weird eyes anymore. Maybe he's not looking at Alex. That's my new solution. So he's just kind of looking up, because he's so tall he doesn't have time for this short gremlin that's just walking next to him. It's actually funny, because that's kind of the opposite of how they work. Andy kind of follows Alex around, and Alex is like, please stay away from me forever. But not in like a creepy way or anything. It's not like Andy follows him home or anything weird like that. It's just the other thing that's kind of weird about these characters is that their name both starts with A, which, I mean, that's not very weird. In real life, you get lots of times, you know, there's like a bunch of people in your class who have the same name, and you have to call them like Jared W. I don't know why I went for Jared. That's not exactly a super common name, I don't think. Maybe it is, but it wasn't when I was a kid. So, anyway, they both have different, they both have the same letter name. I gotta wrap this up soon, because I feel like, okay, so this is interesting. See, Alex is walking, but Andy's just kind of standing here. Also, they don't look like they go together. I think Alex's head is too big. Why is he just standing there, you creep? Why are you like this? Why are you doing this to me? Okay, well, I think I'm gonna have to stop there because this is pretty much where I end. I don't know why I said it like that, but I think I'm pretty much done for now. I obviously don't want to push myself too much with drawing with this hand, and I have done quite a lot of drawings, so I think that'll pretty much do it for now. So yeah, I'm gonna end that here. Sorry, I just got really into drawing these jeans for a second here. Let me just finish these off and then we can end this video. And he should probably be wearing a backpack too. Would he wear it on both of his shoulders? What a nerd. Okay, I'm gonna end this here, so let me just do a little bit of zooming out, do a little overview. Get all that eraser dust out of there. Reposition the camera. Alright, and there's all the drawings that I did for this video today. It was a lot of fun, actually, even though it was kind of hard to think about talking about something as well as drawing something, and I'm sure there were a lot of instances where I just kind of forgot what I was saying and never finished a thought, so I'm sorry if that happens, but I just get focused on multiple things and then I forget certain things out of both of them, so whatever. I think I really like this one a lot. I think this was the star of the show, but I also kind of like how Alex turned out. I'm not too happy about Andy, so we'll just forget about him. But anyway, that was a lot of fun. I'd kind of like to do more of these in the future. It's just nice to let myself kind of relax and not really try and think about like, oh, am I talking about enough stuff? Like, if I just let myself ramble, then I can just go on forever pretty much, so I'm not gonna let that happen at the end of this video though, so I'm gonna stop that now. Thank you for watching this. I hope it was fun to watch because it was fun to do, and maybe I could do more of these in the future if they're fun to watch. I don't know. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in a future video. Bye!